What is up, YouTube land? So, I wanted to make a video because I made some really good progress over the past couple days. Well, actually, to start off with, the last video that I made, um, I had gone to um, drive. The driving was bothering me a little bit, so I finished the video and said, "Hey, look, I'm gonna go try this again." So I did go try it again, driving over this overpass bridge thing, and I did not have a panic attack. So that was amazing. Um, the exposure really helped. The first time through, I did, and it sucked, but I got through it. And then the next day, I went and attacked it again, um, and I still had a lot of like nerves and that kind of stuff, but I was able to get through it no problem. So that is that's reassuring that it is something that you can get through and beat, and that's really cool. So I found two resources, and I don't even remember if I talked with them or talked about them on the last video, but I found two resources that have been like a game changer for me. And one of them is called ilovepanicattacks.com. And with that, they're pretty similar, but what they do, it's a 14-week course, and they only release like a 1 week at a time, just so you can absorb it, so you're not like just smashing through it as fast as you can. You don't remember anything, but the principles are the same. In that one, they talk about this thing called the tsunami effect, which I believe the author or the person running the course made up. But the point is simple. It's 5 steps to get yourself through panic or anxiety in general, and they really work. So the first step would be like just explaining to yourself what the trigger was. Like the fact that if you're getting anxious or a panic attack, like it's not random. Like there's always a trigger. And you say, hey, look, it's because of this false alarm. Like we're not in danger. Like it's that thing like right there. I'm just on this bridge and my body, goes into this fight or flight once I'm on this bridge, but that's why this is happening. So now that we understand why this is happening, we should be a little bit less worried. But step 2 is like, hey, look, whatever happens, it's going to be okay. Like people don't die from this stuff. Like, so just, it's going to be fine. So just relax. Step 3 is that you don't try to resist it. And that's where a lot of people get stuck, is they're trying to like make it stop. And the way anxiety and panic works, and from what I'm researching, and it's the same themes over and over. By you trying to make it stop or make it go away, that's just making it worse. So you have to just let it go through your system. Step 4 is humor. So like just try to make light of the situation. Like, well, if I drive off this bridge, then at least I don't got to make dinner tonight. Just try to make it funny. Try to like, your body has a really hard time with humor if you're also panicking at the same time. So it works vice versa. If you can make light of the situation and laugh at yourself, that really calms you down. And then the last step is like redirect the thoughts and get back to what you were doing. So that's the tsunami effect, in the ilovepanicattacks.com, which I highly recommend. It's really good. And you'll relate with the guy really well. The second thing that I was doing is this book called Dare. I have it on audio. Let me see if I can get that to flow. Yeah, so I have it on audio book, and they have a 4-step process, but it's basically the same thing. Dare, it stands for diffuse, allow, run towards, and engage. Same principles. And this is a newer train of thought. It's not the old train of thought where it's like, hey, we're going to have to learn to live with this and be accepting. Both of these trains of thought is like, nah, fuck that. Like, we can get rid of this. We can stop it. And this is exactly how. Like it's not something you have to manage and learn to live with. Like that's the old That's the old therapeutic approach. Whereas all the new stuff coming out, the cognitive behavioral therapy and all that stuff is like, no, you don't have to accept, like, you can get rid of this. It's something that can be trained. And to me, that's amazing to hear, because that's exactly what I'm looking to do. So in this book, diffuse, allow, run towards, and engage, very similar. Diffuse, basically is you just saying, so what? So what? So say you're on a plane and you're having panic, you're just like, hey, whatever. So what? Like, it is what it is. Like, emotions come all the time. This is hitting me. What's the worst that's going to happen? So really being accepting of it. And then the A is allow. So just allow, again, similar to the last one, is like just allow it to run its course. If you oppose it, you're going to make it worse. If you just allow it to just be what it is, you don't pay much attention to it at all, and it goes away. And then secondly, or the third one, is run towards. So what they mean by that is like almost talk shit to it, and be like, look, is that all you got? Like, is that like the panic's hitting you? But if you're like, hey, look, I wonder if you can make my heart beat even faster. Like, it can't. When you're at that fight or flight, that is the most adrenaline that your body can possibly pump into your system. And so it can't do anymore. So if you start saying like, look, is that all you got? Like, is that it? Which is not, it's easier said than done, but your body it automatically knows that it's not a situation that's fight or flight, because you're not concerned about it. Like, you're asking for more. And when that when you do that, when you really embrace that, say you're sitting on a plane and you get hit with some anxiety coming up, just having that mentality of like, okay, here we fucking go again. You gonna do this again? Okay, come on, let's go, let's do it. Just having that nonchalant, like, look, man, anxiety happens, comes around, I don't give a fuck. And then you just diffuse and go on to something else. You can avoid going into panic. You can't avoid anxiety feelings forever, but you can make them not get bad at all, or you just completely dismiss them. The whole point of this book is for you to completely change the way that you think about those feelings so they never affect you, right? So like, you don't overly think about how happy you are once you're happy. You're just like, fuck yeah, this is awesome. But you don't sit down and just overly dwell on how happy you are, right? And you can do the same principles with fear and anxiety and panic. Is like, okay, I know what this feels like, but dude, I don't even care. Like, I've been through this a million times. It ain't going to kill me, whatever. And you almost dismiss it as fast as it comes to where it's not affecting your life anymore. And so if you ever do get to the point where it actually develops into panic, that's when you run towards it. That's when you double down and say, okay, I guess we're doing this shit. I guess we are. Let's go. And is that all you got? You can't do anything else. You can't do any more. And by doing that, you're just signaling to your brain, like, dude, there ain't nothing wrong. Like, and then it just goes away. Right. And then finally, the E stands for engage, which is get back to what you were doing as quick as you can. Just get back to it. It's not trying to distract yourself from it, because then you're associating it with something that you should be distracted from, something bad, right? It's not that. It's just get back to what you were already doing before any of this happened, and just pay it no mind, and if you can embrace that and practice it, and that's what I've been learning. I'm going to go through the book a second time now, starting tonight. But if you can really embrace that and practice that over and over and over and over again, anytime you get in an anxious situation, the steps happen so fast and so naturally that you almost don't pay any mind. You go straight from like, so what, back to what you were doing. So it doesn't affect your life anymore. And that's how it won't affect your life. So something happens, you get hit with it, and you immediately go, whatever, so what? And you go right back to what you were doing. And if you need to, if it keeps coming, then you allow it. Be like, okay, here it is, let's go. And you just sit there and just allow the feelings to be what they are, and just keep doing what you're doing, And it's not until you overly start to like analyze, like, oh my God, am I having a heart attack? It's not till you start doing all that your body really does think that you're in a situation, and then it develops into full-blown panic. So the whole idea is to not let it get to that point. But even if it does, there's still a plan of saying like, look, bring it on, let's do it. And so you can diffuse it and end that cycle as fast as you can, and then get back to what you were doing so you don't get stuck in that endless loop of panic, right? So I wanted to share that because it was really impactful for me. And if you are going through some of the same stuff, like that's the best way to get through it, is people that are practicing it and have done it. So with that being said, with those tools now in my arsenal, I took it to another level today, where I drove through that area I didn't like to multiple times, no problems. And then I actually went through a whole bigger area that I've been avoiding for a long time. And I was able to get through it, no problem, no panic attack. I definitely felt the anxiety. It was creeping up on me, but I was able to stay focused and just continue doing what I was doing, and never got hit with a panic attack, which I hate when I'm driving, because I just don't feel comfortable like controlling a car and shit like that when I'm driving. But so that's a victory for me. I'm going to go through this all again, because you can only absorb so much your first round through, and hopefully more of it sticks. And just to let you guys know, like, it works. Like, there are ways that work, and I think it just comes down to then continually doing them over and over and over, and putting yourself in situations for you to come out successful. There's no way around this shit, man. You got to go through it. And the cool thing is, you can change your perspective. Like, I am honestly, it's the first time I've almost ever been glad to have anxiety or panic, because I'm going to develop mental strength that otherwise is unattainable. Like, I'm going to be able to get through certain situations because of all of these tools that I'm acquiring that most people never have to acquire. They never have to, because they never get these issues in the first place. But what happens when you need those tools? I'll have them, you know? And so I'm excited about that. You know, I'm excited about the fact that I can get mentally stronger and make one of what I always viewed as my biggest weakness as my biggest strength, because it's forcing me to face my fears head on, go into panic, which is one of the most horrible feelings, and keep going into it until it just can't affect me anymore, until nothing can make me panic. And so that was kind of the idea. I'm going to keep on posting as I try more and more shit. I got a flight coming up on Tuesday, which is so in 5 days. I hate flying. Of course I would, you know, I don't like panic situations, you know, but I have a whole game plan going into it. And I think I'm going to fucking crush it. I'm motivated. I'm excited. Worst case scenario, I go into a panic attack, you know, and I just sit there and let it run its course, you know, and it can't last forever. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but I'm willing to accept it, because I just can't live like it anymore. So hopefully somebody grabbed some kind of useful information from this. That's why I'm doing this, is first to get it out. You know, and second, if I'm going to get it out, I don't like to just talk to the wall. Hopefully somebody can use this information and maybe help themselves as well. So until next time, guys.